زكاتك تدفع عنك البلاء وتحفظ مالك أن أقام.
الحمد لله والصلاة والسلام على عباده الذين اصطفى. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Welcome to part 9 of our short series on contemporary laws related to Zakat. We continue with zakatable assets, and today we will be looking at the Zakat implications of crypto assets. Now, in order for us to understand the Zakat implications of crypto assets, we just need to have a little bit of an understanding of the Sharia perspective of crypto as a whole. Now, we're not going to have enough time in this short video to go into the details, so I'm going to try and summarize it for you. And just to understand that there are differences of opinion from the leading scholars on whether crypto assets are considered as wealth from a Sharia perspective, and also whether they are considered as currency from a Sharia perspective. So when we look at cryptocurrency, we're looking at a virtual currency that uses cryptography for verification, and that uses peer-to-peer networks. Now, you have coins and you have tokens. These are the two main asset classes that we'd be looking at. Coins are very simple because they are a unit of value based on blockchain. For all intents and purposes, from a conventional perspective, they are considered as a form of digital currency, and they are used to exchange value. And we'll unpack just now what the Sharia has to say about that. Tokens, on the other hand, are slightly different. Although they are used based on blockchain technology, similar to the coins, the token represents an asset, or it offers holders certain platform-specific features. So it's different to a coin, and the implications are also going to be different. So if you've got coins or if you've got tokens, you need to understand that the Zakat implications might be slightly different. Now, the question from a Sharia perspective is cryptocurrency considered wealth or mal? And from a Sharia perspective, in order to be considered as mal or wealth, it would need to be something that is normally desired. Ma yamilu ilayhi tab'. It needs to be something that can be stored for a future use, and this would assist in giving it taqawwum, which would make it lawful in Sharia. Now, again, we're not going to go through all of the detailed items, but these are where the differences of opinion occur amongst the scholars. Now, the next question is it considered currency? So from a Sharia perspective, in order for it to be considered a currency, it would need to have an independent value. There would need to be a unit of account, and there would also need to be ta'amul, common usage, and mutual concurrence amongst the community that it can be used as a currency. So in a nutshell, you have a group of scholars that are of the opinion that crypto assets are not considered mal, and cryptocurrency is not considered a currency. In that case, it's not going to be Sharia compliant to invest in them. And so, of course, there wouldn't be Zakat implications. The second is that it could be considered mal, meaning it could be considered wealth, but it would not be considered a currency. And the third is that it would be considered wealth and a currency. So, of course, it now would depend on where you or who you would be following in terms of whether you invest in it or not. What would be the Zakat implications, assuming that it was wealth and currency? This is where you have a difference between coins and tokens. If we look at a coin and we say that it is currency, then it would be zakatable. So you would calculate the value. You may need to translate it into the local currency that you're calculating your zakat on, because it's very unlikely that you would discharge the zakat in the Bitcoin itself. So you would, or the cryptocurrency itself. So you would convert it to your currency, and you would do this on your zakat date based on the price of that cryptocurrency on that date, and 2.5% of that would be zakatable. Of course, if it's not mal nor currency, then it would not be zakatable. But of course, in that case, you shouldn't be investing in it anyways. Now, when we look at tokens, tokens are not currency. So not all tokens, even though they may be Sharia compliant, would necessarily be zakatable. You might have work and utility tokens, or certain asset and equity tokens that you would have that would not necessarily be zakatable because they represent some form of underlying asset, or they represent some form of underlying right, like a work or utility token, and that underlying asset or right is not zakatable. However, if you are in the business of buying and selling tokens, so when you bought it, like any other asset, your intention is to resell it, then in that case, the market value of the token on your zakat date would be zakatable. So in this session, we covered the zakat implications of crypto assets. And of course, because it's something that's new, we had a small discussion on both coins and tokens and what would make them Sharia compliant and what would not, and some of the views of the different scholars on the compliance and the non-compliance. I would encourage you to go and look and research further if you are investing in this space to ensure that you are comfortable with the Sharia compliance. And then we looked at the zakat implications of the currency, which would be zakatable. And of course, if it's a token, it would only be zakatable if you are in the business of buying and selling it. Subhanallah wa bihamdihi, subhanakallahumma wa bihamdika, nashhadu an la ilaha illa anta nastaghfiruka wa natubu ilayk.